Hello, hello. Welcome to Mommy Moves. Um, so I had a request come in. I should have said that you guys can make a request of what you want to see, have, and do with me on Mommy Moves. But this request came in for more foam rolling. And I was like, yeah, foam rolling is so important. It's one of my tried and true practices in my life. Like it's part of my health and wellness journey, this thing. It's that important because we can't always get to the massage place, and we can't always get that perfect massage from our partner because they're too tired. But we get to kind of give our own trigger points, our own actively used muscles, the areas that just really continue to bother us, that chronic pain. We can attend to it ourselves. And even with more certainty and confidence and trust in our bodies to know what we need and how much pressure and where to take pressure off. And it's just a new way of aligning with the body and seeing what it needs from you in alignment and in action and in inaction. Like, just it helps with awareness around your posture, and helps you show up a little bit more confident in your body, because you understand your body. You're not waiting for the doctor to tell you. This is how I've been able to help myself, and not need a doctor so much. It's one of the ways I've learned to help myself tap into what I know about my body and what I might need. Trust me, it's meditative, and that's partly why. So she didn't. This mom didn't ask for exactly what to show, just more foam rolling. So I'm just going to kind of show you my favorite moves along the way. But today, just one upper body and one lower body move. Super super simple, beginner move, and all you need is your foam roller. We're going to do the back, walk up the back, and walk down the front of the legs. Okay. So get your foam roller, put it down on your mat, place both feet flat on the floor, and bring the foam roller right up to the base of your butt. So where the butt meets the ground, basically. So that little nook. And then fall over. So you're just falling over, catching yourself on your elbows, and then maybe lifting off from your legs to bring yourself gently to the floor. So upper back is now on the floor, shoulders, scapula, they're on the floor flat. And keep your gaze up as much as you can. And open up that space, that line, between ears and collarbone. Open that up. So give some space there. And then you'll find yourself kind of like, feeling a nice little stretch in the neck. Soft chin. And that's pretty much it for setup. Flat feet on the floor. And then arms are just going to move. So I'll show you how to move your arms. But here, let me come down. Okay. So feet are flat on the floor. Knees are hip width distance. Maintain the awareness in your legs so that they fire when they need to. But for the most part, we shouldn't need them except for stability. Take your hands like spiders, and you're going to walk your hands to support your feet as you take these baby steps. And we're going to walk up the back. And instead of, hold on. How did they do that? I think I need to move up here because you're not going to see me. Okay, so this foam roller, if you notice the way we got into it, is it's now sitting on the flat part of your hips. So exactly, maybe it catches some of the gluteal flesh, but for the most part, it's sitting on that flat part of your hips. So your low back might feel compromised in this. And if it does, maybe maybe don't do it. but I'm going to give you some things to think about because you know your body. You can sit on a block and at your fleshy bits of your butt, that could be on the block. The thing is you will leave your block. So that doesn't always work because you would need somebody to help you maybe move that block and walk it up with you. So you always maintain that connection of your butt to the block. And then the other option is to skip this walk up the low back. So right now we're sitting on the hips, and so you should feel okay. Maybe hold that abdominal core in, that abdominal wall, rather especially the low abs, because this whole thing that's on the foam roller is now your support for the rest of your body in a way. And so if you feel compromised in the back, use the hips strength and the abdominal strength to take pressure off the low back. Also, I said you could skip this part. So we're sitting here. You can, as we walk up the back, you can walk your feet forward toward the foam roller, a little bit of some gymnastics here, and just walk it up the back faster and farther up. Okay? Now, if you're going to roll and just kind of listen to your body as we do this, then intuitively be present with your body. I'm going to just kind of say what I do, and this is ultimately just the guidebook of how you're going to get into your body. If I'm moving ahead and you want to stay in some place longer, stay there longer. That's your body talking to you, and this is exactly the 5 minutes you want to give it of listening to it. Okay, so we've got our shape. Take your spider hands and walk slowly, baby steps in the feet, maybe just tiptoeing really, and walking up the back, walking the foam roller up the back. Our body is moving away, like down. So it's a little bit, oh, that feels good. A little bit funny, misnomer. So now we're at the low back, if you can take it. We're going to stop and we're inching up, maybe taking a full rotation of the foam roller and stopping. Full rotation of the foam roller and stopping. So we're slowly opening up the back. This is a problem area for me. So I definitely want to take my time on how the muscles just are so clenched, and it's a surge of, some might call it pain, some might a dull pain, some might say it's a good hurt. Whatever you call it, it's there. The longer I sit on it, the more that clinch gets to be like, oh, we're safe here. Okay, all right, I'll let loose. All right, and as much as I oxygenate it, it'll release. All right, for the sake of time, start walking down the back, full rotation, and stop. You'll notice that we're getting kind of with no support in the butt anymore. So now we've got to activate the legs. They're firing just a little bit because our butt is in midair. So, and the hands, so the head is doing some work as I'm even talking to you because I lost connection with my hands. But those spider hands are going to help you focus on breathing, focus on not keeping you up, but focus on letting the work happen in the muscles of the back where the foam roller is. So the head isn't taking a lot of weight from the neck or really anywhere. It should be very gently placed still on the floor. Now we're getting to different parts of the head, so let's walk another rotation. And now I'm starting to inch toward a headstand. I'm not there yet, but I still feel supported. My thighs, my quads, my hamstrings are working because they have to keep my butt up. And because the point isn't to drop in this space and touch butt and upper back to floor. No, it's we're purposefully putting the weight into the back where the foam roller meets the back. Now we're getting into like a headstand because we're in the upper back. Now you can kind of let the top of your head touch the mat as long as you're not putting any pressure on it, or just continue to lay it out. Remember to breathe here. I'm not tired from this. So if you're finding that you're winded doing this, breathe more and intuitively keep your reverse tabletop, right? The structure that's going to best support you here. Now, as we get to really the top of the scapula, the rotator cuff, the collarbone, well, the upper back, low neck, the cervical spine, as we get there, then we're going to drop the butt to the floor, inch. I don't really need my hands. We're going to take our hands to the back of our head. Once we find that spot where the back of our head, where the head meets the neck, is touching the foam roller. And this little like laid out beach stretch is on purpose. So the butt's touching the floor. We're getting a nice little stretch in the upper arms even, but rotator cuff, scapula, top of the neck, cervical spine isn't really stretching, but it is protected. And we're just feeling that opening in even the chest. Take some breaths here. I like to do open mouth exhales. And if things are so uncomfortable, and I don't mean that uncomfortable bad, I mean that discomfort uncomfortable, then I sometimes kind of fidget my other body parts. It's not necessarily a good thing, but I do have my legs going back and forth. So my knees are kind of swaying because I want to stay here and I want to let this open up. But sometimes the fight or flight response in the muscles that are actively used on a daily basis want to fire up and start to get us out of this shape. Then just give it something to do. A little fidget, a little finger tap. We're just giving those fight or flight muscles something to do. Eventually, when your meditative practice is so strong from tapping in like this, you won't have to fidget because you'll be very present with everything that's happening. Not necessarily that you don't need foam rolling less. I'm walking myself back and to come to a seat. If you're ready to dismount, then you could, from this place, do just like I did, release your hands and start walking yourself to a supportive back position and then turn over, or walk all the way up and then turn over, whatever feels good for you. All right, now let's just take a breath and feel before we move to the front of the body. This is a longer session, but opening and letting fall the shoulders, still maintaining like whatever height and expansion that you got in the back, letting that just kind of like lift you up and feel what that feels like emotionally, mentally, and physically. And then now we're ready. All right, so come to all fours for safety, and then just bring this foam roller, give yourself some space, so bringing it around where the knees touch the mat. The hip, the placement of the knees doesn't really matter because you'll start to move it as we roll down the leg, but do what feels good as you're in your tabletop. Do what feels good for that, but we're going to quickly move into just feeling the shape of our leg takes our knees. I don't know. Well, I'll explain it. So we're walking down the legs. Let's walk down the legs. Drink a lot of water after this. a lot of water, more than you would normally. Just imagine yourself. Let me flesh all that out right now. So let this foam rolling be part of that too. The cleansing of your insides, whatever was released, that lactic acid or whatever toxins even got caught up in the muscles. The foam roller is releasing all that. So let's take a water break right now. Okay, so tabletop, what's most comfortable, right? So start there because you might have to work yourself into the thing that feels good. So place your knees where that feels good. And we're walking down the leg. So you're going to come to where your hips, the femur bone, your thigh bone meets your hips. So that little crevice. And open it up. Okay. Now come down to your forearms and my knees. So when I did this, my knees completely like splayed out. But as we walked through, you'll notice the legs kind of do their own thing. And that's okay. So let them kind of float. We're focused on the quad right now. So let me move down here. We're focused on the quad right now, and they're just coming along for the ride. Okay. At any point, you might be on your forearms, so your elbows, or you might pick yourself up, whatever feels more supportive to whatever feels compromised. Upper back, low back. This is going to protect the low back more. If you're getting into a really deeply aching muscle, you might have to come to your palms. So just know that move as necessary. I mean, I sometimes am like this, and I'm like this. And so, because I'm getting into maybe the psoas, right? And so I gotta dig deep on like, okay. And then you'll notice your muscles are all connected and you'll walk your muscle around if you wanted to do the psoas. I mean, we could do that, but like you'll be walking yourself around the muscle, walking. And so, okay, sorry, I digress. Okay, so we're at that joint, and we're just gonna walk down the legs, breathing as you go. With the upper back, we had to stop at full rotation and pause. With more of our arm at play here, we got to have more control over what we do, so we can move side to side. Meaning, you don't have to do a full rotation of the roller. You can literally just go inch by inch down the leg. And so that's really what we're doing. Focus on the front line of the quad for sure, the front line of the leg. But know that you can move the leg as necessary. And so you go to the side, you go to the inner groin or the inner thigh part. But the point is to walk down the leg. So as we do that, just find where it feels good. Find where you can use a quick little, that feels nice. And as we get to the knee, just be mindful of any knee sensitivities. But it feels so good to stay a little bit ahead of the knee. We're not coming to the knee. We're just shy of the top of the knee, the kneecap. And just stay there. I like a nice little 180, a little windshield wiper, because when you start to understand your body, you'll start to see where you overcompensate for a misaligned hip and how that misaligned hip affects your shoulders, affects your stance, your walk, all because a muscle is overworking. And so a tighter muscle is going to pull everything that's attached to it. So the bone even. It's going to attach it and just like it's overworked, right? It's working. It's never released. So it never like puts the bones back. It's always just grabbing everything, tendon, muscles, joints. It's against itself, right? Like it's just like, okay, it's like halt like a dog when you're walking it with a harness. It's like, I got to do work, oxen. Well, the muscle's kind of doing that. It's got to do the work. And because the other leg's not doing enough of the work, not sharing the burden, the partnership. And so this is clinching. So everything's going down with it. Say it's this low back muscle or the quad, I'm not stretching this enough. Well, all this stuff is starting to come in on itself. And this is, the way I would be normally standing. Right. And then you notice that everything on this side is now hyperextended, and it's not that drastic on most of us, but it's there. And when you notice those subtle little shifts that you can do on a daily basis, minute by minute, even if it's like, oh man, I feel that clench. Whereas before I'd be like, whatever, it's there. Can't work out. I can't make time to work out. Uh, this has just got to be how it's going to be until I get to the doctor, until I get another chiropractic visit, until I take another pill that helps the pain. Like it's just going to be there because I can't do anything about it. Yes, you can. Let's do 5-minute mommy moves and have your focus on this mommy move moment to be okay. Let me stretch that out. Or it's as simple as like, okay, I feel myself slouching because I'm doing a habit at the sink with the dishes. I'm recognizing, oh, I'm in my habit of like slouching. Shoulder, maybe you give them a little shrug so that they find their natural balance with each other, with one another. So not just one is doing something, but they're both kind of finding like, okay, how can we share this job of keeping Yvette upright? And where the shoulder blades get to fall down the back, and just like that opens up the chest, everything just feels a lot better. If I just did that one little tweak at the dishes, I set myself up for more more ease, more flow in my life. Um, Aligning the breath and the body is just like, it's just it. And this really helps foam rolling. I caught myself rambling. So, anywho, thanks for coming on live. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow's I'm going to be a little bit earlier because I have an appointment. So I'll probably start our live at 9 o'clock tomorrow, and then we'll go back to 9:45 ish. But life happens. I'll keep you posted.